Hello everybody, welcome to the Uncharted Frontiers on Kerbal Space Program once more. This is episode 5, and we are just getting back from episode 4 of a decently successful launch. Well, before I clipped through the ground and before my mic broke. This is a direct continuation of that video, so more call it a 4.5 rather than an episode 5 in its own, but we are still pushing full steam ahead with everything we are going to be using. So we're going to start researching things like basic satellites and definitely, and I mean definitely, spacecraft recovery. So that's a new priority we had to deal with. Yay. Now let's get those researched. 58 days, yes, 140 is now going to be June of 1955. Oh, how far we have come in this series. Oh, how far we've come indeed. Well, that's done. Alright. Fun times, fun times. Into the vehicle assembly building to build our first, you heard it, orbital vehicle. Yes. We are going to make orbit today. I don't care what the agency has planned, but we are making orbit today. And rightfully so. I think we've been deserving of orbit for quite some time now. So our orbital spacecraft we'll be using is going to be let's use Explorer 7 from the United States of America. Okay, I'm sure this thing's got some nice experiments on it, but it would be a science industry if we didn't add our own. So, I am here to add a camera on the top of it. I know, very unintuitive, but it works. And after that, we will just have to build a launch vehicle for this thing. Luckily, I am very good at building these. Let's make the force percent 0, just so we have some sort of, workaround. Definitely gonna build a good sized fairing for this launch vehicle. This vehicle will actually be our first, two-staged rocket. So we're gonna put together all of our assets and just basically hit home, go for the best. And we're too thick for the vehicle. Oddly enough, these say 1.25, but they're not 1.5, which is really weird if you ask me. I think they should just be regular in size, but that's not up to me. Now is it? I guess we'll just use them. They're slightly oversized, but when has that stopped any spacecraft? What's our upper stage engine going to be? Hypergolics? We haven't used that yet, and it is a great fuel source once in a vacuum. I mean, look at that return rate. That is a great fuel source indeed. But we don't have an engine mount for it. Do we have struts? Yes, we do, so we can still make it look a little bit pretty. So we're just going to go find ourselves a inner stage piece that they look like this. But that's not the one we're looking for. We're looking for a good-sized, just large overall. But I don't actually, this type might not work as our design philosophy of this vehicle, unfortunately. But I know something that will. A Atlas boost stage merge. Hear me out? Atlas can make it to orbit if it tried hard enough. Now, if I do remember correctly, the Atlas vehicle itself was, in our timeline, not much far off from being orbitally capable when it was first started, so just add a few more extra fuel tanks to call it a day. So, sorry about that, my mic has been glitchy. just to improve the design of our vehicle ever so slightly, we will, can we just make struts on it to look cool? I mean, no, they weigh extra, so no, we don't want to do that. But the side boosters we are using are incredibly effective, as we've learned. Very, very well bought, well used, whatever the word is. They are it. But they are gonna help us in our initiative to enter the world of space. And that is what they're helpful with. So we'll just kind of push them up. Beautiful. And have them there. Our main engine's here. Boom. You basically have 6,000 meters of delta V via this program. Now, does that not look like a beautiful vehicle to call Vanguard 1? It will be our first artificial satellite, which is the first I don't know how to spell actually, I'd rather not mess up, so satellite, yeah, so, no, that looks wrong. That also looks wrong. First orbit, much better. Don't mind the spelling comprehension there, but holy, 73 days in the good old construction will get us into a Earth orbit by the end of 1955. Which would be nice. Which would be very nice indeed. So, in honor of that, this episode will be airing alongside the pre-recorded episode of episode 4, which has been recorded for a good amount of time. Now, just not gotten to the point of releasing. I tried to release it yesterday, didn't go so well, but here we're gonna get a day launch because I need to see my orbital spacecraft. And just doing a quick idea check here. I do believe 6,000 meters per second of delta V is substandard enough to arise into that atmospheric ability, which is good enough. Once we get out onto the launch pad, which I do not know what's taking it so long this time. Okay, there we go. Just had to give it a little. Hey, this is what we're doing now. So, we hit that button, and we are back on our trajectory. All engines currently nominal. No flags. Oh, good, we have experiments on this one. This actually looks awfully Russian for an American playthrough. I do want to try to find a solid rocket motor waterfall mod, if those even exist. Not sure. I would love to gravity turn with this thing, but I don't trust it gravity turning. Do I have access to MacJeb? No. Well, I have MacJeb, yes, but I don't have MacJeb, you know? Playing a risky game here at this stage of the ascent. There we go. We're about to get our 80 for our margin on orbital velocity. 96. Out of fuel. There go our boosters. And we will, I want to say, coast for the duration of this until we reach that orbital speed. Just checking that we have enough delta V to reach orbit, which we should. I know I've never officially made that statement, but reassuring enough. We have over 3,000 meters of delta V and a thrust to weight ratio of 2:21. So I think we're fine. In the orbital regard, at least. I don't know about future exploration of space. Okay. Unneeded now, but that might have been a mistake. That was a mistake. Oh god. Oh god, are we gonna recover from this one? Are we re-entering? Ditch all extra weight. Oh, we might recover. Rocky road to orbit. Guys, we might be fine. Speed 2,600 meters per second. Altitude just about 90 kilometers. Speed functional. Altitude checks are good. Flight nominal. Vehicle is incredibly unstable. 1,200 meters per second left to Delta V, make it count. Okay, as we enter over equatorial Africa, we will see if what we have been working toward for our 1955 launch is a success. And we officially have made orbit. This is the first artificial satellite in low Earth orbit. Its name? Well, it doesn't have one, but we will start transmissions back to the KSC instantaneously. 14 science added. Take photographs. That is beautiful. Beautiful. Review all data we have. Then review all the other data and transmit everything back to the KSC. I don't believe we... Okay, well now that we're in orbit, we have much better views of everything around us. Wow. We've definitely made it a long way since the humble beginnings of the program. Now in orbit, we don't know what we're gonna do with the field of space. We're definitely gonna start work, but it is time, definitely time to get ourselves back to work, but not until we attempt to burn the remaining fuel in this thing and watch it re-enter. That is always a fun part of these missions, is the rapid and unscheduled re-entries of boosters. So we'll just overturn the entire world and we re-enter over Karoo, the site where we launched our first orbital spacecraft from, and the site in which re-entry of the first vehicle of that standard will come from. Entering Earth's atmosphere at incredibly high speeds. This is a very, very intense moment for the agency. As we enter Earth's atmosphere, the vehicle does not appear to slow down. It smacks into the ocean at over 1,000 meters per second. And the vehicle, at least or what remains of it, is recovered for extra scientific profit. Well, we made orbit. That was definitely a milestone, that's for sure. First orbit. Where do we go from here? Well, we go a lot of places. We have a reconditioning of the launch pad, and then we have 56 science to spend. So we are going to spend it on some better... Definitely got to start focusing on communication, as we're going to need that for our furthered exploration around the moon and beyond. So just gonna start researching all the parts we need for that, and as always our upgrades will be checked. We are gonna put some to the VAB, and this is spaceplane hanger. Okay, the rest into the research building. So it will be 1957, very, very soon. Almost the real date where we started sending things into Earth orbit, but we are not sending said things anymore. We are in low Earth orbit, and, well, let's just say we have bigger priorities than all of our missions up to this point. That is most certain. Which is very nicely done, as we will now enter the vehicle assembly building for the final launch of today. Now I'm just thinking what I should launch. Definitely something of symbolism. Or, you know what we could do? We gotta start getting our crews ready for their missions. So what we should work on constructing is the first jet ever built in our agency. So it will be built with a obviously very small cockpit. And does this have fuel in it? It does have kerosene, okay. So it will have that as its back piece, and its front will retain its aerodynamic shape along with its other necessary parts for flying, as that's been made apparent. We just chose nothing major for this simple flight. It's just gonna be an up and down. That's exactly what it's gonna be. It's gonna test our abilities to fly a plane, and if it does that well, then I guess we'll use it for more. But don't really design planes all too often in KSP, so if I do something wrong, well, feel free to let me know, and I will improve upon further designs. But today's vehicle is pretty straightforward, as it is just adding some wing pieces that will look quite odd, if I do say so. That doesn't look right at all, but who cares when we are in a game about launching green things into space. So we're just gonna load everything onto a spacecraft that is functional. Might even use these wheels instead, as they kind of just stick off the side rather than disrupt the entire symphony and harmony that is the main spacecraft. So we're just gonna use these guys as our takeoff wheels and also our descent, because we don't really need the amount that the other pieces offer. So take this as a prototype aircraft, nothing major, nothing overly, I don't want to say overly aerodynamic, because it's meant to be overly aerodynamic. It's a plane after all. But its goal is going to be just nice and simple. So if we can find our jet engines, which I know we have them, they might just be in miscellaneous, or we do have a jet section. Okay, well, that is what we're looking at for our vehicle today. A center of mass, center of aerodynamic quality, center of weight, all in the same general area. So if this plane is able to withstand itself and hold itself up to the standards I need it to, we'll finish this episode discussing the future of this series and flying around the R1. Random name. Well, it's our first jet. That's what it is. Let's put a Kerbal in there, give him a nice little flight suit over what he currently wears. There we go. He is ready for whatever we bring toward him, and now we're just going to auto-strut the vehicle together and keep it rigid. And this thing will take 74 days to build, but something tells me this vehicle will be able to reuse for further exhibitions, as it is a plane. So we will get this thing out on the runway as soon as we physically can, briefly fly it around, and then end the episode off there. So I feel that's reasonable. What's the R1's completion in July of 1956. So, let's just get to daytime. I don't know why they call it launch, but yeah, that's our pilot we want. So, Jebediah will enter the spacecraft and attempt to show his flight skill for the first time in this series. So, it will definitely use aircraft a bit more now that we have access to jet engines. We've had access for a long time, but now that I'm comfortable using jet engines in this save, we will use them. I was definitely waiting just for our first orbit, but we're going to try to get as high as we can with this jet, I want to call it. It's barely even that, but this jet-powered aircraft, let's just call it that. 'Cause that's, whoa. We had a rough start there, Jeb. Well, we will, I guess we will try that again in the next episode. So see you guys at the next episode of the Uncharted Frontier. And remember, I do have the mod pack within the description this time, so you guys can all download it if you really want to. It's been fun doing this today, and goodbye.